might be regretting you. That's right. We're doing a movie. Just throwing Paul under the bus. But we're doing our movie reviews, and we're starting off with one I've seen. And Paul, I'm not saying you need to, but Regretting You. This is the story about a young lady who meets the love of her life, who has been in her class the entire time, while her dad, and I'm going to try and get this right, her dad and her uncle, no, her dad and her aunt die in a car accident together. And you find out through her mother and her uncle, one who was married to her aunt, who was best friends with the father, Dave Franco and Allison Williams. They've always been in love. They grew up together, and now that they found out that each other's spouses were sleeping with each other, it becomes this whole like crazy headache and wildness. I realized it did not explain it well, but I have to be honest with you, when it came to this movie, I didn't find myself fully invested. I will say Mason Thames and who's the lead in this with McKenna Grace, they had great chemistry. They were fantastic together, worked out really well. I even like Scott Eastwood and Willa Fitzgerald's characters. They're on the screen for a very short period of time. Great chemistry. I really felt that they worked out well together in that. Like, you could see them together, and they were playing the father and the aunt respectively. But when you have Allison Williams and Dave Franco, who are the lead characters kind of in this, and you're following their like trauma and their turmoil, I didn't find them to be the strong enough actors to carry the movie that needed it. I also am not a huge fan of either of them. Not that I think they're bad actors or I dislike them in that way. I will go see a movie they're in, like Regretting You, but they never really carry a movie well when they're in the forefront. I do like them sort of when they're on the side. Now, if that were the case with this and they had focused on McKenna Grace and Mason Thames' relationship throughout, it might have been a little bit better. But this story gets very convoluted. You saw how I was trying to explain it, and that's sort of how it's explained throughout the entire thing. So for me, this was like a 2 out of 5. It was pretty well put together, like romantic dramedy, but the story really makes no sense. Kind of goes to places where you're like, what is happening with this? Overall, it's just really those the two young actors, Mason Thames and McKenna Grace, that kind of keep you invested into the story more. But overall, it just wasn't for me. I'd say if you're going to check it out, maybe wait till this comes out on streaming. But yeah, that's my take on this. Thank you for checking it out, and let's go to the next one.